Facebook page and on his YouTube page. I want to say good afternoon to all the persons that are already on my YouTube page. A pleasant good afternoon to you. Shama Jeremiah, how are you doing this afternoon? I pray that everybody is ready. Everybody would have had a wonderful few days. All right? Don't say you guys. Don't say I didn't inform you guys that I would not have been here. All right? But ladies and gentlemen, I am here again. I want to say a blessed evening to each and every one of you. Let them know that the class is in session. Let them know that I'm here for another evening. Let them know that I am not going to discontinue my conversation. Let them know that the new National Party remains strong and firm on the intention to make sure that the government of Grenada do what has been promised to our people, and we are going to ensure that by doing so, we will oppose when the opposition purpose comes about. We're not going to do it for opposing sake, but we're going to do it to ensure, ladies and gentlemen, that we keep everybody afloat. We want to remind persons that COVID-19 continues to be prevalent in and around our community. The protocol and the practices that was there in 2022, it is not too far away from many of our minds. So I ask persons to continue to take the precautious measures. All right? Right now I'm seeing so many persons on the live, so go ahead and share the live. Let persons know, tag somebody, let them know that we're back, and we're back with a bang. All right? I want to, during this time, say condolences to the family of Miss Madonna Hosford, a stalwart of a trade unionist, and so she would have left us to go to the great beyond. It is a calling of the Almighty, and so neither one of us could have caused this not to happen. All right? So she has gone to the great beyond, and so we're asking persons that if you know family and friends in whom you can reach out to simply say to them, hold the faith, keep strong, and let them know that whatever that is happening at this stage in life, it is not going to last a lifetime. All right? So let us ensure that we reach out to friends and family, as I aforementioned, to ensure that persons remind them that at this stage that they can hold the faith, right? Hold strain, as our old folks would say. All right? Sorry for a moment. I would have just drifted across to my computer to ensure that everything that I have ready for this evening is ready and prepared. I want to say congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say congratulations to the new National Party. We would have engaged our young students today, and not just young people. Our young students was engaged today. And we can say to you guys that an example has been set today, not just for any and anybody, to let persons know that a new National Party that sits in the position as opposition can still ensure that the development of this state is on their front line. And so young people, young students was engaged today. And so we had over 100 or so young students being engaged today in conversation. Tomorrow we will be again at the National Stadium. It is just an effort to ensure that our young people of this state understands what the ability they have in overcoming and triumphing and being able to control anger and anger management. And so if the authorities won't do anything, don't believe as an opposition we will sit and allow our young people of this Tri-Island state to simply go down the drain. And so the initiative was taken. And so today, young students throughout the Western Corridor More so, well, eastern side, northern side of the island was engaged. I think the western side will be tomorrow. My apologies on the information. But the eastern side, more the northern side, I think they were engaged today just around the arena area. And hundreds of students, they would have made themselves present. This is not a political gimmicks, ladies and gentlemen. This is not a campaign tactics. This is simply a political organization, even while not in government, ensuring that our young people of the date of today remains conscientious, that there are people who cares and understands their plight in terms of controlling their anger management, and behavioral patterns. Information today was disseminated to ensure that our young people remains on the track. And I want to say congratulations to the new National Party, Miss Emmeline Pierre, Dr. Panchu. I want to say hats off to you guys. An amazing gesture. This is not during a campaign. This is 1 year or so after a loss of power. And when you have people like that still thinking in the back of their minds that even if we don't sit in the chair, it is important that our young people be engaged. And so I want to say congratulations again to the new National Party. Tomorrow they would be at the National Stadium. I think the Western Corridor would be engaged, that too of St. George's. So St. Mark, St. John's, St. George's, they can be engaged tomorrow. An awesome job. This is commendable, ladies and gentlemen. This is outside of a campaign. This is outside of trying to get trying to gain political grounds. We're 4 years away from an election. So it's not a political gimmick. We've just lost an election. Neither one of the person that was engaged today is part of government. Those were persons part and parcel of an opposition party. And if that, ladies and gentlemen, does not ring a bell as it relates to the conscious minds that sits on the other side of the chair, then I don't know what will be. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, I want to say congratulations and hats off to you guys, right? Well, for the past few days, I want to say this. I want to say this because somebody said to me, if you don't address this, I am going to deal with you. But knowing the person that I am, I try to chuckle at everything and I don't try to give relevance to everything. Let me say this to you. When an election period comes around, politicians are relevant. When school reopens, teachers become relevant. When football season opens, footballers become relevant. When it is carnival, calypsonians and soca artists become relevant. So most time people would normally gain fame based on the time of year that you are relevant. And so somebody said to me, Prince, I heard an individual basically made advancement in calling your name in a calypso. But knowing the person that I am, I went along and I listened to it. And I said to myself, I don't think it is relevant that I pay much attention to this. Because you know why? Let me tell you why I would not pay much attention to this.
I fed up on the same thing, over and over. Fed up on the same thing, over and over. Fed up on the same thing, over and over. Fed up on the same thing, over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over.
Now we know definitely every year the particular individual is going to pick on somebody who supports the new National Party and try to bring his relevance to the fore, right? So we expect nothing less from the individual. Name calling, whatever gesture, whatever speculations that he would wish to bring. We are used to this, ladies and gentlemen. As supporters of the new National Party, every year it is an expectation that this individual is going to attack somebody, because that is his time of relevance. During the year, nobody hears him. Nobody, who's that person? So nobody pays attention to him. During the year, he passes in his vehicle. He might go to work. He might go anywhere. If nothing serious happens, we don't know that the individual exists. Sometimes you have sudden media coverages or media briefs, and you see the individual, and you ask yourself the question: where does he work? I mean, is he still working with government? Is he part of a ministry? So the end of the day, we expect the individual during this time to bring his relevance to the fore, because during the year we don't hear him, we don't pay attention to them, so we don't expect to hear them during the year. Other than when carnival come, you hear them, bring a little music and try to make themselves sound relevant, because that's the time for this. During the year, you hear nothing about anybody else. You understand me? So the individual's opportunity now to, establish himself and sing or bring aside some story or some storyline is an expectation. So all you leave him. You understand me? All you leave him. We would not pay much attention to him. All right? Just leave it at that. All right? So let's get into the meat of the matter, ladies and gentlemen. And let me start with a little bit of humor. No. Let me tell you something. My father is a farmer. And I've always asked myself the question, why is it that every time my father plants, he can get a harvest? He can get a harvest. Every time my father plants something, you're seeing it grow, bust out of the ground, and it develops. And I used to ask myself, what is the issue? What is the issue? Like, why is that happening? I believe that the persons who plant the pumpkin on Wall Street might have the same issue that I am having. I believe first time I see pumpkin dead in rain season, ladies and gentlemen. First time I have seen pumpkin dead in rain season. This is the time, because I had to call my dad for his years of farming and say, Dad, what could happen that could cause pumpkin to die during rain season? My dad gave me all kind of things. Maybe he have a disease. Maybe he wasn't planting the right moon, or whatever it is. You see, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it goes back to what I always say. You see, when you just want to do something, when you just believe that you just want your name to call, so you just do something for fame or recognition, it is irrelevant. And it may just simply seem to be, okay, it's a conversation about pumpkin. No. It goes to show that thorough thoughts and professionalism is not put into the practice of this administration, and just for the purpose of just wanting their name to call, they will do anything. Anything. So you say to them, hey, listen to me, you have a drain block on in Tantin, they would just for the purpose send a tractor there. Not giving an assessment that, okay, if we unblock that drain, is a possibility we might damage that culvert. No assessment, ladies and gentlemen. And it brings me to my first point. Now, in Victoria St. Mark's, there is a senator that has been selected for the area. And the dissemination of information that we have given to our supporters in recent weeks and recent days is that even if your parliamentary representative is the person responsible for the parish, they are not the person that coincides with government. And so, if the needs be that assistance is requested, you therefore would need to speak to the person within your parish or constituency in whom they may have close relations or communication with government. And so our official folks, after the 29th of June, or maybe prior, would have engaged the senator within St. Mark's that have been selected. And they spoke as it relates to an area that needs a little bit of, simple, how should I put it, rearranging, because it is stones and so on, and so all is needed is maybe a tractor to be placed in the area and stones to be arranged. And the information, and listen to me, the alleged information that was mentioned that came from the senator to the fisher folks was that they have enough money to pay a tractor to do such a job. That they can come together as a body and deal with that issue. No, they went to the person responsible. They also would have engaged persons that is on the other side of the chair, meaning Dr. Modest and others. And with her being the caring person that she is, she did converse with them. Conversations was held. And so they came together and did get together and get a tractor. And they fixed the area. Lo and behold, would you believe that somebody, I don't know who it is, would have taken some photographs of the work that was being done in the area and sent it off to the senator or in whatever means or way he got in possession of the photograph. And would you believe he placed somewhere on his Facebook page that after having dialogue with the fishermen, he would have caused that form of development or rearrangement to take place. Now it continues to happen within our state, whereby persons does normally want to beat you down when you say to them the things that the National Democratic Congress as an administration is taking as their own are usually work that either has been in the pipeline or has been commenced by the new National Party. Because I want somebody to this date to direct me to some area where this National Democratic Congress have initiated anything of relevance to economic development, youth development, and to put structures in place to make things much better than it already is. It is laughable. It is laughable, ladies and gentlemen, as it relates to the many issues, that we are being faced with, and this organization, this administration, continues to be blinded by it. No, people are asking for help in many different aspects. Many different aspects. But before we get on to that, I want to play this for you. You know me, Isaac Clip Bajan.
We have, since the start of 2023, saw an uptick in reported violent crimes, particularly among our young people, during the first quarter of 2023. However, our fortunes have become a little better as we approach May 2023, when we start seeing a 20% decrease a 2% contraction over the first quarter in 2023.
Let's
Become
break
a
this
little
down together.
better as we approach May 2023, when particularly among our young people during the first quarter of 2023.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first quarter of the year, January, February, March, April. This is the first quarter of the year. And let's try to break down. You see, when people speak, let me ensure that we understand what they're saying. 4 months. January, February, March, April. This quarter showed an immense increase in cases of violence among our young people. But listen to this further when it dropped. Here when it dropped.
23. However, our fortunes have become a little better as we approach May 2023, when we start seeing a 20% decrease a 2%
Now, if we would have now, if we would have had January, February, March, April, there was an increase. The month which follows is May. How can you assess a decrease only in May when you had an increase for 4 months? Come on, people. Let's put things into perspective. You had 4 months of an increase, but you are calling a decrease not reaching the next quarter yet, you know. You have not even gotten to 2 or 3 months within the next quarter, because the first quarter, which is January, February, March, April. All right? Now, how can you say to me that there is a decrease in May when May is only the first month of the next quarter? Come on. Are you so politically favvy that you, as a member of the Royal Grenadier Police Force, are going to disseminate information of this nature? There is a 2% decrease in the first month of the next quarter. January, February, March, April being the next month is the first month of the next quarter. And look at, he said, so thank you very much. He said, approaching May. So how can you make an assessment? How can you make an assessment of 4 months after some days in May?
However, we have since the start of 2023 saw an uptick in reported violent crimes, particularly among our young people, during the first quarter of 2023.
The first quarter being January, February, March, April.
However, our fortunes have become a little better as we approach May 2023.
We are approaching May. We have not even gotten into the first month. So we are approaching May.
When we start seeing a 20% decrease.
A lie, because, well, he corrected himself initially, but it's 20% he wanted to say, because he said twice. That is 120%.
A 2% contraction over the first quarter in 2023.
God have mercy upon us.
No, you understand where I'm going with this, people. Why do we continue to play politics with information that are relevant to state? How can you say this and think that it is making sense? You basically wrote this. A 2% contraction. a 2% contraction after 4 months of a significant increase. So you assess 4 months and say that there's a decrease in May. So we had May now, June, July. For the past 3 months, people, how many cases have we heard of violence? How many cases have you heard? How many cases have I heard? How many homicides have happened since May, June, July? When was this documented? You gave us information for the starting of May. This wasn't the press conference last week. Basically, my memory serves me right. This is conversation from last week. So where is May, June, July information? So you tell us that there is a contraction of 2% heading into May. So June didn't happen. July, nothing happened, and we're in July. Why do we continue to play politics with information that is of relevance? How are telling me, child, that? What am I supposed to tell me, child? That gentleman, a trained police officer, is giving you this information? A ranked police officer? That there was an increase. What is the percentage of the increase? No, you didn't give us a percentage of the increase to say, well, okay, it was an increase of 40%. And if it's an increase of 40%, mathematically, we only after in the starting of May, we only drop it down to 38. Because the 2% that you're speaking about, what was the percentage of the increase for the first quarter? Let me see if we hear it. Because I didn't hear it.
Categorically denied that this information came from me.
We have since the start of 2023 saw an uptick in reported violent crimes, particularly among our young people during the first quarter of 2020.
So what was that percentage? No, you would have had the last quarter of last year. You had the last quarter of last year. So we're asking you, you didn't give us a figure for the amount of the increase, but you're giving us a contracted number for the decrease, which is 2%. What was the increase amount? How much did the crime raise to? Are we seeing that at the end of last year, it was at 25, and so that increase is now showing 40%? Are we seeing a 37% increase? Are we seeing a 40% increase? And if so, what is the present percentage? And you're basically saying to us that at the starting of May or approaching May, we saw a decrease of 2%. So even if it is at 60, we only have a 48% now. If it is at 40, we have 38. That is relevant information. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, people, to show you that even relevant information that is expected to be disseminated to our people, that should be of relevance, is being played with on the basis of politics. This is simply what it is. Believe it or not. Because you are saying to me that there is an increase. And mind you, this is violent cases. Those are violent cases. Those may not be homicides nor murder cases. No, you are saying to the Grenadian people that there is an increase. No, having listened to the press conference, nearly every single offense has seen a significant increase. Even within the traffic department, with the dissemination given by Inspector 50 Smith. Because I listened to it. So I look at it and tell me I didn't hear. Even in traffic cases, there is an increase in many traffic offenses. You got information from Mr. Douglas, who was there, that is attached to the Central Division. They're increasing cases. In CID, they tell you there is an increase in cases. Every single department would have reported increase in cases. what we expected from somebody that is of high echelons from the Royal Grenada Police Force is asking us, or telling us, sorry, the manner in which the RGPF decides to tackle such an issue. This is what we expected to hear yesterday. Last week, sorry. What we expected to hear is the said gentleman giving information of relevance to ensure that our people of the state can rest assured. They can rest assured that, hey, don't worry, it's going to be all right. But allow me to just read this statement. I want to say good afternoon to you, brother Nimrod. Well, the whole statement is flawed. The first quarter is from January to March, right? So if the press conference was in June, he should be covering the first quarter, comparing relatively to the second quarter, which covers April to June. Right? Now, the fact of the matter, Brother Olivier, is that this is not just flawed for the purpose of, it is so politically motivated to ensure that persons don't turn and say, what NDC doing about it? This is simply what it is. But during COVID-19, the government is in panic, man. We're asking persons to save themselves. The government are basically asking persons to do X, Y, and Z. Persons can have to be scared based on information that comes out of the mouth of the individual. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter, the fact remains, ladies and gentlemen, Grenada is at a state where we are not expecting government, not the Royal Grenada Police Force, to be everywhere at every time. But in the issue of security, there is something called preventative measures. There is also community policing. There is something called motivation to officers that may tentatively assist in the manner in which officers do their job. At the end of the day, I believe every police officer who is more than 5 years old within the RGPF knows this is the season when their backs would burn them. Longer hours, more patrols is an expectation. But after being so demoralized within recent weeks and months, what do you expect? What do you expect? Persons are timid to even go bring relevant information to the police. Surprisingly, the only place, and I'm subjected to correction, I believe St. Mark's and P.T. Martinic are the only two places throughout the Tri-Island state that have not recorded a murder or a homicide. We are in July, the 11th of July. Just break the neck of the first half of the year. Tell me this is not alarming. Tell me this is not an issue that we expect that the Commissioner of Police, other hierarchies, and the member of National Security, the Minister of National Security, to sit and speak about and address our people about. Tell me if this is not an issue of relevance. People are having the worst case scenario. They are dying. They are being killed. They are being robbed. Persons are reluctant to simply go to enjoy themselves on the basis that they never know when something will play off. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something is important. It is important, ladies and gentlemen, that the police officers protect themselves first and foremost. And I remember with Mr. Martin, many persons hated his way of leadership. And you need to understand why. Because many times, 7 persons ride within a community to have an event Sunday. So, let's take for instance, Boca ride for permission, Bolio ride for permission, Vendom ride for permission, Willis ride for permission. Now, as a commissioner of police, you are expected to let them know that, yo, it is hard to police this. Within the Central Division alone, remember, the officers at Central Police Station have to deal with places as far as sometimes Labari, Monjaloo, Springs, all those areas. So let's take it to mean that officers are on a serious report in Springs, a fight break out in Vendom. It trickles off and goes into, how they call it, the place they're having the dance of day. You need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, this is not to scare you. This is information that you need to understand. Because many of the situations, now, I had an individual tell me the other day that he went to an event and he could remember it is a good 10 years ago. And an individual walk up to him and say, I remember what you said to me when we was in X, Y, and Z. And the man said, when he jot his memory back, it could be more than 10 years ago that the situation would have happened, and it was a verbal altercation. And the individual was among his friends, and he came to him and said, you remember what you said to me about X and Y time ago? He himself was bewildered, only to do the assessment in his head and say, but me and the man had something about 12 years ago, about 10 years ago. And he was approached. This is simply to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, persons are so aggravated that even the gesture used today by the new National Party was for this level of relevance. With a little alcohol in the head and the disability to deal with that level of anger, what would you get? Young people are basically idled, just around the place and lining and outside. A family member and all even said to me, hey, I'm at that place and me and that person good. And a gentleman took his hand and put it on the side of his waist and said to him, let her come and trouble me tonight. Simple event. And the individual is in possession of a firearm. We saw during, and you see again, is information that is not wanting to be given out. Because even during the fisherman's birthday, the police officers would have found firearm during the stop and such and so on. But you see, again, is what is relevant to make sure that something or somebody looks good. Brother Nimron is stating, if your top leader have school leaving certificate with any formal postgraduate studies, you will have a force run on old tactics of nepotism. Top echelon of your face needs competitive managers. A commissioner needs to have superb management skills. Now, at the end of the day, this is what we speak of when we speak of tactical measures and preventative measures. If you know that there is something going on in Vendom, I don't expect you to give an event in Boca, because it makes your policing difficult. Now, if there is an event at the National Stadium, I don't think the police would want one going on in Tantine. It would be difficult to police. Now, at the end of the day, this is what we speak of as it relates to preventative measures. At the end of the day, you have things like block searches. For let's me say, oh, the police are harassing us. But you need to understand that you need to tell your friends, watch me. Watch, are you making the police come and search us? Don't come around here with no cutlass. And you see, you don't know when the police is coming, so you're always on the defensive or the protective side. This is all that is needed. We're not asking you to increase their pay. Well, if it means that, because you would have promised them as it relates to the pay and grade. So the RGPF in itself is even finding themselves in a monkey pants politically. Because I cannot understand that this information that was given is to be understood. There is no figures as it relates to the increase, but there is a figure to its decrease. So what are we comparing? What are we comparing? You go to an individual and say, we have 16 more persons in the class than we had last term. If the person doesn't know how much persons was in the class last term, how would they know whether or not you're speaking the truth or not? And mind you, I'm certain that is 20% that is marked on the page. And then maybe his conscience might have kicked in. And say, well, if somebody have the facts, they may beat me on it. We need to stop this. We need to stop this. We need to understand that in the manner in which that we're governing, it is important. Sometimes the information is harsh. The information is harsh sometimes. You feel that during COVID-19, they wanted to come and tell you he had 149 cases last week and this week you have 271. The information is harsh because you don't want people panicking. Neither you don't want to bruise the heel of your tourism industry. But at the same time, it's better than we stay in with little cozy corner and develop ourselves and make ourselves better than we try to bring the image out there that everything is so fine and dandy. And so some foreigner or foreigners fly here. And then you hear during the carnival, 7 tourists or visitors was robbed. 2 died. You rather keep that conscience that even if somebody wants to visit, let them know the facts. Somebody's buying a vehicle, you know you have an engine problem, tell them. This is what I'm saying. Simply. This is simply what we're saying. You don't hold back this kind of information. We had the same thing recently with COVID. Everybody showing there is an increase. There is an increase. No, when you realize that the whole place started to talk about it, you come outside. He had 25, then he had 40 something, now he has 71. Now how is that not relevant? Why play politics with information of that nature? Disseminate the information. Let us know. This is simply what we're saying. Because either way, let me say this to you guys. Either way, economically, Grenada looks like it's pulling its foot. I am not an economist, but at this stage, having been around, going around, I believe Grenada's economy is dragging its foot. Boots on ground, the bottom of the boots bust, and it is dragging its foot. And you're not seeing members of the government engaging relevant conversation. They are not engaging relevant conversation. And now I believe to myself that the new National Party administration was just fast. Because at the end of the day, the bank strike Right? You see Kid Mitchell send somebody in the bank to speak to somebody in the bank. Grenlec strike, some minister there in Grenlec. This one strike, how much days now? How many days now, ladies and gentlemen? With Friday being one of the days that our public servants are expected to receive salaries. Members of the of the Republic Bank are on a strike. So your priority in this, we know it's an internal issue, but here what your concern there should be. There are public servants during the bi-monthly payment that is expected to receive salaries on Friday. Now your concern there as a government who cares is simply to engage them to see how best you can speak to the powers that be to ensure that your people are satisfied and happy. We're not expecting you to go there and make any negotiations. No. This is not what is expected. But there is something called cushioning the effect. Because let's take it into consideration that there are public servants that might be affected on Friday. Or next week, Monday. Whenever it is paid. If this is not a call for concern, then what is? All these people do is present themselves to interviews, basically come and smack-tatic conversation as it relates to, oh, we pay pension, we pay back salary, and then when you get the opportunity, or well, I shouldn't say get the opportunity, because they're not creating the opportunity to be questioned. Because some of them, as the interview done, 5 minutes, oh, you know, we have 5 minutes more, we have to end the program, eh? But you go on certain interviews, you have persons calling in and disrespect senators, and they're on the phone and they cussing and they saying this and they saying that, and the person doing the interview remains there, saying nothing. Don't even cutting off the person. But check it out. Whenever members of government is on a program, listen to the people that call. No information of pertinence. Oh, hey, me MP, you that day, we love you. Hey, Dr. Deacon Mitchell, we love you. You is the best PM. And then somebody else call, don't worry them. You staying there until how much years? Dr. Mitchell on a program. But why Delma want to leave the party? When is all your convention? How come when you leave, you didn't fix the Western Main Road? How come the Western Main Road project didn't finish? And how come this didn't happen? But the government who sits in the chair, when you get the opportunity to say to them, well, Dr. Mitchell said that there was money for the Western Main Road project. What is the circumstances with it now, Mr. Minister? Well, Deacon Mitchell, well, the information that we heard from the RGPF is that there is an increase in crime. What is it that your party is engaging the RGPF to do? No question like that. But they want to know when is an MP convention. And how come Keith and Delma fall out? And how come Keith don't want to give Peter David leadership? Nothing of relevance. Nothing of substance. Because at the end of the day, they're so babbly. By an administration, they believe that I fix all the problem. A man fix a man tie in his neck. And it's great humanity. But an old woman sitting home who was receiving assistance from government, $150 was removed from her salary or the program that she was a part of. And that is nothing. That is nothing. But he fixed a tie. Take out a picture with a child. He fixed a bulb. He scraped a wall. That is relevance. That is great development for state. But the seed program, when you speak about it, let it go and do the work. The young go and do the work. Oh, that person, that family overseas, they could take care of their mother, their grandmother with 1 foot. The person seeing more trouble than the grandmother here. The person might be seeing more trouble than the grandmother that sits here in America trying to make ends meet. But you take her out on the seed program because she have a daughter in America that working as a nurse. And you take out that gentleman there because his son is a married man working in Grand Lake. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, whatever they do, we should hush them out about it. That is simply what they're saying to us. So whenever you see them on certain programs, well, if you see them, because sometimes based on the time that they travel, you may not be able to see them. Based on the time that they travel, you may not be able to see them. Our young people of the state, again, you take them and make a happy show. Because you wanted vote at the time, you come and you tell young people this. Let me get it so I could play it for you guys. Let me show that you all could hear when I give you the information that I want to give. You told young people this, ladies and gentlemen, listen.
The National Democratic Congress will not just decriminalize the use of marijuana, but in fact legalize the use of marijuana and create a cannabis and marijuana industry that will provide real, big and tangible benefits for the citizens of Grenada. We will do this by ensuring that the marijuana industry is well regulated, that it provides significant tax revenues for the state of Grenada, and that the industry is owned and controlled for the benefit of citizens of Grenada.
Now, this was the greatest plan for young people. The most developed plan for young people was this: the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana. This is what they had to bask on. Simply this. Because at the end of the day, there is nothing else that young people can put their finger on and say, well, we achieved that, we're getting that. We can't play politics anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it is enough at this stage. I believe it is enough at this stage. Now, you support your party. We expect persons to support the National Democratic Congress. It is nothing wrong in meeting your MP or your senator and say, watch me, we're faced with this and it is becoming a problem. Instead, you're meeting them and all they're giving you is some bye-bye. They're blocking their numbers, changing their numbers. You had an individual stand up in a town hall meeting and say, well, I'm seeing that person, where are you? And the MP sit down there in the chair and he grinning like, you know, she give a joke. People, we can't downplay the information, right? We cannot downplay the information. So when we have the information, we disseminate the information. If you want to take it as if it's a bashing, say to me that what I gave to you here today was information of irrelevance. Say to me that what I gave you today and it was focused on the RGPF. Go back and look at the clip. Now, what was the percentage? Was it given? Ladies and gentlemen, it was another wonderful evening. We have hit the 7 o'clock hour. And so I want to say thanks to everybody who tuned in this afternoon, as per usual, to be edified with information. I hope that it was relevant to whatever information that you were seeking. Maybe it was a conversation that you wanted to hear, but however you sat and you listened, I pray that God gives me the ability to continue to do this, right? It is not one that I am boastful about, but it's one that I'm thankful about, that I have the ability to voice my opinion and my feelings as it relates to issues of state in which I am displeased about. If you're pleased, then fine, right? But however, I want to disseminate that information on my displeasure. Tomorrow we are on again, same time, same place. I want to say a pleasant good evening to everybody that was on the live today. But before we leave, normally there are persons are of late, and I must say this. I want to say thanks to the persons who normally now contact me and say, hey, I need you to throw this out for me. And so I will take the opportunity to do so. So it is the festive season. I want to say congratulations, first and foremost, to all the semi-finalists into the Soca Monarch, right? God's blessings. It's your talent. It's our culture. Do enjoy the season, and I wish all the best to each one of the competitors, all right? But don't forget, on the 22nd of July, we have D&M and Diamond that is presented by Pinky and Donna. That would be held at Crampy's Entertainment Center. That's in Subies in St. Andrews. The starting time would be 8. Tickets would only cost $20. The new national party, St. Patrick's West, they present Sassy and Sexy. That is on July 28th, about the Rum Runner 2. $65 gets you on the inside, and there are tickets at the party office. Heartfelt, ladies and gentlemen, the Ladig Sports and Development Organization, they present Hard Fet Day Cruise. That's on the 7th of August, 2023. That is only $70 would get you on the inside. So tomorrow, share promotion. Big up my sister Marissa. I want to say tomorrow we are on the Embassy, $65. This is a night cruise. The name of the cruise warm up, be there. Shanti Soca Monarch, ladies and gentlemen, would be held on Saturday, the 21st of July. The date has been changed. The winner would walk away with $10,000. 10 artists and special artists would be appearing. We would be out there. It would be hosted by yours truly, Royalty James. So please be a part of this. All right. Let me ensure that I get the last one. Have one from my brother Barry. Right. Let me ensure that I place my finger in this, because if I don't get it, Barry go come and stress me out. Good afternoon to my good friend Barry. A good evening to everybody out there in the diaspora. Don't forget that it is the festive season, and you can book a flight and come to Grenada to enjoy the greatest festival in the world. All right. I want to ensure that I get my brother information. I want to get Barry's information to ensure that I can disseminate that information. I don't know. I'm not seeing it on my phone. Barry, maybe you need to resend me that flyer. Nah, man, I got it. So Big Slice and Trade Promotion, they present Staggering. That's on Thursday, the 10th of August. That's Carnival Thursday. We will be having a day cruise aboard. You can get Dash and Boise tickets are only $100. That would be one for the history books. All right. So this is all the information that I have for you this evening. I want to say Bees Burger Boy on Wall Street. Go out there on any evening and get yourself a burger. All right. You can entice yourself with a burger, and you can be refreshed with one of his local drinks. All right. Glenda Robinson, you're late. She said she was fetching some water. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to the end of today's program. And I want to say God's blessing to each and every one of you. But just before we leave, whatever happens in Grenada right now, it is not a problem. You know why? That nothing. To my folks on my YouTube page, I want to say good afternoon to you.
Roots man, you do have nothing to sing about in 2023. Cause you see that nothing ain't happening right now in the country. All the melee done, the confusion done, the government ain't doing no wrong. You won't get the opportunity to cry the NDC down. I do have to wait for something to happen to compose a calypso hit. Because I could write a song about nothing, the people go still love it. Cause I am the kind of composer who could put lyrics together. Not only about Dick and Kit, I could take nothing and make sweet music. Like when they keep jumping the money and they take back poor people 150, you tell me that nothing. So not because Dr. Michelle and Delma find themselves in a bitter dilemma. Die nothing. And if the PM run out from in finance and he live Cornwall in a monkey pants, die nothing. So if Keith Mitchell say you want Peter to be an NP political leader, die nothing. Singing but nothing, so I hope you ain't digging nothing. This song is but nothing, so I hope you ain't digging nothing. Peter. With Derek Sylvester. Way Akima. Woodsman, I find like you're talking nonsense. Only stupidness you just say. You should resign from singing Kaiso and go and stonefish by the bay. You know how them judges just thief you. Why the hell you went go abroad? Get away from this chain of violence from St. Vincent to Trinidad. You cannot tell me to shut up just because I talking so much. Because in the days of the NNP, you never asked the scholar to hush. The same scholar used to take nothing and do something to Kit Mitchell. But St. David's people know for certain that I wish brother didn't well. But after one whole year and a few months pass, I see poor people still catching their ass, you tell me. And no matter how much I should cry, the ruling party won't give her a blight. But I nothing. And when they shuffle up all the magistrate, Kindra Matthew Winston grab the bait. But I nothing. My brothers and sisters in Carriacou, they used to love, but now they afraid of you. But I nothing. I'm singing but nothing, so I hope you ain't digging nothing. This song is but nothing, so I hope you ain't digging nothing. Nigel. Go and relax yourself in Abbeville. As the people's favorite Calypsonian, my responsibility is to keep you reliably informed and apologetically. You may say I'm a good for nothing. You may say that I'm talking shit. You may even call me a real bad man, but I can't be a hypocrite. I was glad people get their pension. We know how much they deserve. And a new vessel for the Coast Guard, so they could better protect and serve. Getting money bi-monthly to boost the economy. No more free handout from the party. You have to work for your salary. But when you're thinking every Grenadian blind, when you force Edwin Martin to resign, you tell me that
die nothing.
And over the years, I think die the most promotion I see in the police force. But I nothing,
die nothing.
big NNP man killing Kareku. All these officers, no one have a clue. But I nothing,
Die nothing.
did you let the assailant get away? Come on, let me hear you say.
Die nothing.